Welcome to the Golden Ground Podcast. Welcome to the 2022 season of the Golden Ground Podcast, Season 2. I'm Jacob Elliott. I do this podcast. I love it to death. I don't go to app. I'm 20 years old and I don't even go to app. I love app to death. My mom and dad both went there. I tell people I practically bleed black and gold, so don't mess with me. But anyway, I know I have so many fans on my Twitter page and so many fans everywhere else. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. We're going to add new stuff in and try video this year instead of just audio. So I'm really excited about that. I'm also excited about some news I'll share at the end of this segment or this video about a little new surprise we have that I'm going to test out at the UNC game. Go Mountaineers. But everyone, thank you for joining. I am Jacob. Like I said, I did this last year, and now this is season 2. I'm ready to pump it up more. Most of you guys who are watching this probably know my Twitter page that has a lot of graphics on it. I am continuing to do my graphics, and as of this moment, I have 6 more to go. I will be releasing those once I have all 6 of those done. So that should be another 2 to 3 weeks before I release all my graphics for my season my game day posters for the season. So I'm really excited about that. That's something you guys always love and talk about. Also, I have some really cool interviews I'm trying to line up today. And our host for the our guest for our number 1 episode is going to be House United. That will be later in the episode. And pretty much, we have a lot of fun to go today. And let me just say, this episode's going to be 2 segments today. I'm still working out kinks and graphics and blah, 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 blah. So it's going to be very short today. So the 2 segments, we're going to have the interview one, which we pre-recorded, and it was recorded on the day that JMU, Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss joined the Sun Belt. So that was kind of like a little back, but I've been trying to work out this stuff so we can get it done. So that one's a little farther back. And our first segment will be talking about the new Sun Belt alignment and also talking about the standings and my predictions for who's going to go where. So let's get started, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next segment, which the next segment is going to be called the Sun Belt Predictions. Let's get going to the Golden Ground Podcast, Sun Belt Predictions. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome to the Golden Gridiron Podcast. This is our first of 2 segments on this episode due to the fact we're still trying to work out some kinks. Graphics are still being made. But let's get started here. And before I get any started, I want to give a big shout out and recommend this book I'm about to show you. This guy feels steel. Let me show you. You see who that is. You got Cooper Hodges right here on the front cover of our region, but he was the first person to ever interview for anything on my channel or page, so I'm really like that, and it's a big memory for me to have him as my first person ever. But his magazines have really helped me do this, and so did my own mind, because you guys know I'm really good at predicting. I'm really good at my statistics, my thought processes. Process is very thorough, so let's get started with this. So, first of all, probably on right up here, we're going to have the graphic of the team I'm talking about, and then maybe in this corner, we may have some, I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. But folks, let me get my phone out. It has all my information on it that I was going to tell you guys about. And we're going to get started here. Let me pull it up. So this segment is just going to be talking about my picks for number 1 through 14 in the ranking in the whole Sun Belt. Then we'll go by division, East Division and West Division. But the overall Sun Belt, this is my order I picked them in, and I'll explain each one. So first of all, I'm just going to go through all of them, and then we're going to go break down one by one. So first of all, we have number 1 as Appalachian State University. Number 2, we have Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns. 3, a surpriser, but I'll explain why. We have Georgia State. 4, Marshall. 5, Coastal. 6, South Alabama. 7, Troy. 8, Old Dominion. 9, Southern Miss. 10, JMU. 11, Arkansas State. 12, Georgia Southern. 13, ULM. 14, Texas State. Now, I'm going to go each by each and explain, and afterwards I'm going to my favorites, my surprise picks, and the all-time upset alert pick. So we'll get into that. First of all, Appalachian State, they return so much product, they return so much talent, and plus they have rebuilt a fantabulous roster this year coming into the 2022 season. And 2023 season, they have got so much talent coming in. They have so much talent over here. And plus I'm an App fan, but that's bias. But still, on the other hand, there's no team I think that can match App State physically and talent-wise in the Sun Belt right now. Marshall is close second. Louisiana is close third, in my opinion. Georgia State's up there too. So pretty much, I don't need to explain App State to you guys. But number 2, Raging Cajuns, the Louisiana Lafayette. I believe they're going to be good. I believe they have a chance to lose the division this year. I put them as number 2 just because the talent is returning. They have a new coach, but they have a great coaching staff. And they have great a culture. And I love their fans. But I feel like they have what it takes, but I also feel like they have a chance not a chance, but have a very likely possibility of not being the West champs this year. And we'll get into the other 2 schools I think that could pull that out easily and later down the list. Number 3, the surprise pick, the underdog, whatever you want to call it. Number 3, Georgia State. I believe Georgia State has what it takes to do this. I believe Georgia State is a wonderful school. I believe they have what it takes, and they really proved it last year. Now the next step is beating Appalachian State and then getting into that East title. Their schedule, let me look it up. I just want to make sure I'm saying this right to you guys, because their schedule is pretty tough in the first going, I believe. Here we go. Yeah. So this schedule starts at South Carolina, then comes home. The plays at home against North Carolina. Then they play Charlotte. Then they play Coastal, and then they play Army. That first few schedule, that schedule right there, if they can win those games, or at least win all but 1 or 2 of them, I feel like they have a chance of beating anyone in the Sun Belt. And especially if you can beat North and South Carolina like we did the same year. But then you also have Charlotte, a really good and improving team. Then you have Army and Coastal. And then you kind of have that slump off right before a big break. You have Georgia Southern, and then you have a break, and then you play us. So if they want to win the East, they got to go through us. But they have all the pieces it takes to do that, unlike some other schools that we're going to be talking about. So I predict number 2 in the Sun Belt, number 3, in the Sun Belt, and number 2 in the East will be Georgia State. Marshall has what it takes to win. They have everything they need. They lost a quarterback, though. That's the big question mark, is if they can find another quarterback to replace him. Appalachian State and Marshall was a fantabulous game last year. 5 out of 5 stars for me. I was at the game, too, so I loved it. But I feel like losing the quarterback is just devastating, but also I just don't feel like they're going to have enough pieces together like Georgia State does to be the number 2 dog. But they can be the number 1 dog. So Georgia State and Marshall could be flip-flopped anyway, anytime, because these 2 teams are so evenly matched. And they play each other the last game of the year, and they play out Marshall. So if you ask me, either it comes down to Marshall or Georgia State, either in the East, it'll be the last game of the year, and it'll be the one decided. I would love to see that game. That game's going to be very, very intriguing, very interesting to see who can hold up their own, and see by then if each team has lived up to the hype of the game this year. So you ask me, Marshall's number 3 in the Sun Belt. Let me get my other ones. Number 5, Coastal Carolina. They have Grayson McCall, of course. Everyone's like, why are they not higher? They lost a ton of talent. And the question is, can they, with what they have and what they are bringing in, have what it takes to even be there? And my question is, no. Coastal is not going to be as good as they've been. They're not going to be the team that the country was slobbering for all year long. And I just don't think they have what it takes to be in the top 3. I really don't. They're just going to be weaker this year. I mean, if you ask me, it should be a 2-score win for App State when we play them this year. I just don't see Coastal right now being the top dog in the Sun Belt. And that's why I put them at number 5. Now, 6 and 7 are both from the West. And in my opinion, these 2 teams have what it takes to beat Louisiana for that. So these 2 teams could easily be number 1 team. And I'll explain each one. The first one, number 6, is South Alabama. Number 7, Troy. Now, South Alabama impressed me so much last year. I was so impressed with them. Get their page up. Like I said, Phil Saw has so much information on it, guys. Go look at it. And last year they finished 5-7, but most of the losses they lost barely lost to Louisiana, barely lost to Texas State, barely lost to ULM, barely lost to Troy, and then they barely lost to Coastal in overtime. So if you see, South Alabama is the real deal this year in the West. Now, if you look at the schedule, say they had these close games they couldn't finish. Imagine the talent, and they have really good talent coming in this year, and the returners. Imagine all those games coming out with win. They will only have 2 losses, really, to us and then Tennessee. And besides that, I'm telling you, they are the real deal. South Alabama has a real chance to be the Sun Belt West Division champ. But also, Troy. Now, everyone's like, why Troy? Well, let me explain. Let me say 2 words that may help you explain. East Division. They've been, before they got switched to the West, they've been in the East. They've been in the powerhouse division of college football. They've been with the top dogs in the Sun Belt. They've been with the top dogs in the G5. And if you ask me, going to a weaker division like the West, I'm telling you, Troy can do it. If they can beat teams and have a substantial good record like they've been doing in the East, imagine what they can do in the West with the same kind of talent, but weaker opponents. That's why I think they also have a good shot going. I really think those 2 teams have a shot. And those 2 teams do face each other this year, and they do face each other towards the middle of the season on a Thursday night. So that could be, Troy versus South Alabama may be the team that's going to, whoever wins that game may be the team that wins the West. That is a game to watch. Troy, South Alabama, you gotta watch it. That may be the biggest decider of the West Division this year. Now, we're getting on to the rest of the teams that I don't feel like have a chance, but still we're going to rank them in our second half of the bracket. Old Dominion. Now, everyone's going to be questioning me, why ODU over all these teams again? ODU went to a bowl game. ODU has talent. ODU did play in Conference USA, but they have what it takes to at least compete, not win, but compete in the Sun Belt this year, more than some of these other schools. I really do think so. Excuse me. I just don't see some of these other schools doing what ODU's been doing. I mean, it's going to take them, it's going to take them a few years to get acclimated. It's going to take them a few years to get some more talent and play up to the level we are. But I just believe this one of the stronger teams in the second half of our division standings right now for me, or the predictions. I just see them that way. I mean, it's hard to explain, but I just don't think these other teams have more than what we're seeing right now out of ODU. Number 9, Southern Miss. Southern Miss is the same way as ODU. They have talent. They come in strong. They come in powerful. They're in the West Division, a little weaker division. Still not as weak as the Conference USA. But, again, compared to some of these teams down the list, they have more talent. They have more response. They have more accolades. They have a lot more than some of these other teams down the list have. So that's why they're so high up. And then number 10 is also going to be the same as the other 2, JMU. Now, JMU is not, in my opinion, it's not going to be the new Appalachian State. They're not going to come in here and shock the world and do like everything we did. It may take them a year or 2. I just don't feel like they have what we had at the time we did it. Yes, they have a great program. Yes, they have a true history. Yes, all this other stuff. But they just do not have what it takes, in my opinion, to compete in the Sun Belt Championship this year. Maybe in a couple of years, maybe. But I do not see them going any higher than that. Actually, if anything, they're going to be lower than that. JMU, great program, but just not ready for the big dogs because they're just not the Appalachian State type. And that's not saying that. They're just not the type of the team that will be like Appalachian State when they first came in. That's what I meant. That's the reason why they're there. Some people may say they're too high. I just feel like they have more to offer than these other teams, though. And those other teams, if I can open the phone, would be number 11, Arkansas State, number 12, Georgia Southern, and then number 13, ULM, number 14, Texas State. Arkansas State, Georgia Southern flip-flop. Just not that impressive last year, and then not really that impressive this year on the stat books and what they have just shown, and the talent and the recruiting. It's just not really where they have it. Georgia Southern, therefore, does have a new coach, though, so I can't really give them like their bad team. It's just different for them. For Arkansas State, I'm just not impressed with Arkansas State. Sorry, at all this year, I'm just not. I really want to see Butch Jones do good there, but I just do not see them playing well this year with all that they've been bringing in. It's just not that impressive to me. Georgia Southern, a lot of good players left. Some came in, blah blah blah. It's a question mark. I'm putting them low because it's a question mark, but also I'm also like Arkansas State. I do not see them being that good this year. But maybe next year they will. Who knows? These two teams could flip flop anywhere in the second half of the standings, in my opinion. Now we get to the bottom two teams, ULM and Texas State. ULM, I'm debating putting them higher on my list later on. I'm debating, and there's not really much I can say without going into my second half of what we're going to talk about really quickly. But I'll wait until that to explain ULM. Texas State's just Texas State. Let's just go with that. They're not that good. They have what it takes to beat teams, yes. They just don't have what it takes to beat Sun Belt teams. They may be mediocre, yes. I just do not see them being good this year, and they just not really impressed me at all the last few years either. So I'm not really expecting big things out of Texas State. Now, let's go back to ULM in a minute. So now we're getting to the segment where I choose the underdog, the top surprise team, and the upset of the year team. The upset team of the year would be ULM. ULM played really well last year. Really impressed me. It did. I just don't see the talent there, but I didn't see the talent there last year either. On paper. That's where I was totally wrong. And that really surprised me. I mean, let me go look at their stuff right quick, because I did check it out a little while ago. And I was really, last year they went 4-8. Most of the games, they held their opponents to 27 points or under, and they scored about 14 points or so. They played tough. They played well in the West Division. I put them low, but still, they may be the surprise upset team of the year. If anything happens, I mean, I really was wrong about them last year. I could be totally wrong about them this year. But they're the team to watch for the upset team of the year. So watch them. Now, the underdog of the year will go to Georgia State. Georgia State, wonderful program. I see tons of talent there. I see tons of potential. And I love Sean Elliott to death. I love his intensity. I love the culture. His fan base, his players are all behind him. I absolutely adore Georgia State to death. They're my number 2 favorite team in the Sun Belt right now. I just love them. I love what they bring. I love their classiness. I love Sean Elliott's intensity. I love all they do. I love their heart, the grit. They play like they are, like their life's on the line every game. They give it the all. They're just a great all-around team, culture, and university. And Sean Elliott has done a wonderful job doing that. And I really do think they have potential to be the number 2, or even, if some miracle happens, the number 1 team in the Sun Belt East. But they have to get past Appalachian State first. I've been talking to their fans, doing some research here and there. Their fans said the very next step to becoming the best team they can be is beating Appalachian State. They've done it. They played tough against us the last few years. We have shown them the door, and they almost beat us a couple times, especially in Boone during the COVID year. They almost beat us in Boone. That's when Taylor Lamb came out, and I think it was, can't remember who came in. Sorry, guys. It was our backup that year. It's not Halleck, even though I love it. Let me just say, Logan Halleck, if you ever watch this, I love him, man. He's a great guy. Love all he does. Me and him used to talk. But anyways, it was our backup. I don't remember. My bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not good at names, really. But Georgia State does have what it takes. Man, I'm really, really happy to see them succeed. They're very classy, very respectful, very downright, and gritty. It's very, very hard to explain how gritty they are. So they're my underdog team of the year. And then the middle one, the upset team of the year, Troy. Yep, I said Troy. They have what it takes, and I would not be surprised if they can win the West this year at all. I would be more than happy to predict that they will win the West this year. If Louisiana does not win, it will be Troy. I bet you money it will be Troy. Then my third down the list would be South Alabama. Now, let's get into the little parts right here. I think it could be Appalachian State, Georgia State, and Marshall. Those are my top three in the East that could be the champions or go to the championship game. Other side, Louisiana, South Alabama, and Troy. So if you put this up, I think that's amazing. I really think Troy, I'm hoping that Troy can win because Troy does have the program. They did play in the East. They do have the talent. They do have the knowledge. They do have everything they need to be the West champion. It's just, can they bring it from last year over to this year and improve? Now, I'm so happy that this went out so well. This is awesome. I love talking about this stuff, but I'm just so excited for my next segment. And our very next segment is with the House United. Oh my gosh, guys. He is a wonderful guy. Joseph Club, big supporter, loves the Joseph Club, always talks about them. I cannot wait for you guys to listen to our interview, and it's coming up right now. Thank you for listening to this segment. Let's go to the interview, guys. Woo. And that will be... Okay. Yep. Okay, we're good.
All right, good deal.
Yes, let me just make this a full screen. And we're perfect. Yeah, it's been a long time. So I'll just do this right now.
I'm gonna try something real quick.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Don't worry about it. It's my first podcast of this year, so I'm really happy.
Oh, I'm the first for the season. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm starting to do it again. So I have some time now because I work at Carowinds in Charlotte, so I have to drive there every day. So it's like only certain days I can do this.
Okay,
but no,
gotcha.
It's not you guys. It's just...
What do you do at Carowinds?
I'm in entertainment, doing some tech and doing stage management and stuff like that.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna quickly, right before we start, just tell you kind of what I was gonna do, like a couple, just two things I was gonna mainly talk about today.
Sure, go ahead.
Let me find my notes. Okay, yeah. So one is the Sun Belt expansion because today is the official first day for all these teams. Fair.
Sure.
I thought it would be fair just to look at that. And then,
talk of the day.
Yeah, and then the other thing I was gonna go look at was all of our transfers. Just look into that a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah, we can try and talk about that a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Not too.
I'll do my best to be as intelligent about it as I can. I haven't followed all of them, but
yeah, there's some big ones. And
may not be in depth.
Yeah, sorry. I'm surprised how many transfers we got. That's the reason why I want to talk a little bit about because we got a lot of transfers recently.
Gotcha.
And I have the names and everything. I'm just gonna bounce back and forth, but mainly I want to do the Sun Belt expansion today and talk about a little bit about our season because it is the expansion, which I'm happy about. But we'll get into
it.
So I'll just do my little intro and then I'll get going.
Absolutely.
Hello, welcome to the Golden Ground podcast. I'm Jacob Elliott, back for another season, our season 2 right here. And then we got, well, you guys know him a lot. He's getting really high up there. I really admire his work. Jess, I'm not sure how to say it, from House United. He's a great podcast. I love everything he does. Go check him out on Twitter too. But I'm so happy to have him on. It's my first person. I really admire his work. So good to have you on, man.
I really appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Very, very kind words. I'm humbled by them. Thank you so much. And just to help, Justice is
Yeah.
how we say the last name, but we're excited at House United for the upcoming season. We're excited for all the opportunities that not only football, but all of our sports at Appalachian State have in front of them. And so we're really looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I started my page, 2018, there's like you guys kind of came in. You came in a little after me, and for me, I feel like I kind of started the new wave of app stuff because I came in 2018. You guys came in a little later, and since then you've grown so much, and some of my other podcasters have grown so much since then. I just like to think of myself kind of like the one who generated it because I was the first one started up again. But you guys have taken it really,
Well,
really well.
You're doing a tremendous job to keep up the great work. I love the artwork that you're creating too, as well, by the way. And you're right. There's been a surge, I guess, of course, with the internet and the accessibility that people have now. More and more people are able to get online and put out some really great content, whether it's you, Black and Gold podcast, Off the Mountain podcast, the Gold Room podcast. Appalachian State got into it with Adam Witten, and they're doing Ain't Nothing But a Appalachian podcast. So a lot of great, and then there's others, right? And so it's great to see that excitement, that energy that's wrapped around not just a football program, because again, as we at House United continue to talk about, it's not all about football. We know that is the crown jewel of sports in a lot of ways. But that said, we have so many tremendous programs, so many tremendous student athletes, whether it's baseball, basketball, softball, volleyball, cross country, wrestling. They're all doing such great, tremendous work on the mountain. So we want to talk about them all. And we do our best to do that on Mountaineer Rap and we're going to get started back up here pretty soon. But you said, we're doing a great job on the podcast. And that's great. And we have a lot of fun with it. That's not our central thing. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're driving as many dollars and creating excitement and engagement around all of our Appalachian State sports programs as absolutely possible.
Yes, exactly. You hit right on the nail. It's not about football. Football is kind of what got started, and when people look now. But if you look at our basketball program, we're scheduling Louisville this year, which is a great ad for Kearns to be playing against a team like that. It's awesome to see our wrestling teams improve. Every team in App State, I think this year has improved a lot, and I've seen a lot of improvement. And everyone likes to look at football because that's what it got started. But if you pull back the curtain and look behind football, there are tons of talented teams in App State and improvement. So the basketball team's on the rise, which is awesome. Our baseball team, Kermit's, he got invited to be a coach, I think, for some USA just recently. It's just amazing just to see not just football guys, for my guys. It's awesome just to see App State in the whole and see the excitement and the fans and everyone wanting to do this. It's not just that. I mean, I don't know if you've been, but I was in the basketball games this year, a lot of them. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you guys, that made me so happy to see the fans, the students, and everyone coming together for a program that's struggled for so long. Yeah. And have that kind of fan support through the years with Kearns so far. It's just been amazing. And I'm telling you, I bet this year is going to be even more packed. Last year was so loud.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Oh, yeah. And it's just, besides football, we all love football. We all know about it. But still, the wrestling team, they've always been really good. They are so talented. We have the baseball team. They're starting to rise up. Our softball teams, they're there. And we just have all these other sports, too, that I'm not talking about. But especially basketball is putting its name out there, too. So that's good to see that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully baseball next year will be able to do that a little more. But Kearns is awesome. I love Kearns.
They will. We've got some returning veterans that we're excited to see coming back. That are committed to taking the Appalachian State baseball program to that next level. They really believe in it. And that's the beauty, really, in what we have at Appalachian State. People talk about culture, and that's great. Culture is great. It's a great buzzword, and it's used a lot, and I understand why. But that said, culture is family. And when we say app family, when we say family is all, just like Coach Smith, Kermit Smith of the baseball team. They use the hashtag App Family this year, and so we believe that at Appalachian State. It really is. It's a family. And when we tweeted this out earlier this morning, talking about friends can come and go, but man, when you see each other as family, the effort that goes in, what we do for one another changes. It's a different level. And so you pull back. You talk about pulling curtains back. You look at the first curtain, you pull it back, you got football obviously right front stage. Then to pull that curtain back, we have don't want to tear out or level out the different programs, but really the next level are really all of our programs behind football. Everyone is seeing tremendous success in all of the sports programs. But let's pull another curtain back, Jacob, and talk about all of the work that's done behind them. And that is through the Yosef Club, through the athletics department, through individuals that get in and they help and they volunteer. Sometimes we're going to have volunteers up for move-in day for the fall, so that way we can recruit more people in the Student Yosef Club and Yosef Club. People like Doug Gillen and all of his people, all of his family in the athletics department, they're all doing such great work. And we got to continue to do that and support them in every way we can, because they're family, and we just got to look out for them and help them get out there. I encourage everybody to contact with these people, whether through social media or whatever, and just let them know I'm willing to help. If you're donating, that's great. But if there's other ways, maybe there's some expertise, experience, skills, or just something we can volunteer and help out with, that would be absolutely awesome.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to say one thing. Doug Gillen, I love him. He's done a wonderful job at App. He's done an amazing job. And he's done a great job of bringing in coaches and assistants that are valuable, that are respectful, and the values and what they see is the future of App. And I love that. I love his choosing so much. And you're right, behind the scenes, there's so much going on we don't know about. But also this year, the Yosef Club's been great. The season football tickets, amazing. The fans are starting to come back, but also that we have our supporters are coming back more now. We get more and more supporters, which is awesome for everything, not just football. And that's really going to help our whole athletic program with all these supporters coming back, wanting to help, wanting to do this and that. It's just awesome to see. And I'm really happy to see that.
There's a lot of excitement, and one of the big exciting things, one, you talk about support, and we can get into this on our time with House United, but we've got some really interesting new program we're going to introduce to help people provide additional support, and we'll be there for them. We'll talk about that at another date. That said, there's a lot of excitement about the football season because our conference is different. Today's the first day, right? Very first day, brand new Sun Belt, and seeing lots of messages talking about a new sun, new day, the sunrise, et cetera, playing, a lot of puns and plays on words for the new Sun Belt. And we've got 4 brand new members. All of them we're familiar with in some aspect. So we've had some history with them all. So it's going to be great. But before we got started, just a little bit ago, I saw the Appalachian State Athletics put a really cool little tweet out and said that now with the new Sun Belt and how everything regionally, how it's set up, then maybe we should start calling Appalachian State the epicenter of the East. I love that.
Yeah.
Whoever thought of that, put a little extra change in their paycheck this week, Doug, or whoever thought of that, buy a mistake dinner or something. That was sweet. I like that one.
Yes. And I mean, looking at these teams coming in, you can't but awe. The Sun Belt I see all these conferences adding in here, there. If you ask me, and you ask a lot of experts, they say the Sun Belt, and I agree with this, was the best conference realignment winner out there. I know this people like ODU, Old Dominion, they went to a bowl game last year. They have the talent, and it's going to maybe take a few years for some James Madison, maybe not, Old Dominion to get the talent in they need, but they're talented. You can't sleep on these teams like James Madison, ODU, and all these other schools coming in because they have the talent. They may need to grow a little bit because the Sun Belt is, in my opinion, a little more competitive than the league they were in, but I feel like these teams fit so well. The geographical parts of it is
Mhm.
amazing, and
Yeah.
just the way that they brought them in and these teams are coming in, it's just I can't say how excited I am, but also how thrilled I am to have the Sun Belt be this good. It's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've talked to other people. They said this, and well, I'm going to say this. If anyone can make it out of the Sun Belt undefeated, should be contender for a New York 6A. Because in my
Yeah.
opinion, no one's going to come unscathed. This league is going to be tough. It's going to be hard. It's going to be fought in a geographical. I mean, the fans will travel. It is one of the best expansions I've ever really known of because it's so well done.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're definitely the winner of all. I know realignment even continues to happen today. Everyone's talking about what's happening with the Pac-12, the Big Ten, et cetera. But that said, forget the P5s. We're not concerned with those guys. They can fight over the media money that it'll come whenever it does for Appalachian. I just want to put on the brakes a little bit for everyone to not quote unquote poo poo anyone like JMU, ODU. Remember when we came into the Sun Belt, there was, I'm sure, plenty of detractors and naysayers who thought, well, Appalachian State's a one-trick pony. They beat Michigan. They won 3 natties with the FCS. Who cares? Please don't sleep on these programs. They're really great programs. They've got a lot of great coaches and student athletes who are hungry. And when you're hungry, you tend to get things done. So Appalachian State Mountaineers, do not ever rest on your laurels. Always be ready. Always be alert. Be grinding and working hard. Because even though we perceive ourselves, I say perceive ourselves to be kings of the mountain or kings of the East, et cetera, that said, the king can fall awfully hard. So we've got to continue to work hard, not only on the field and the classroom, the way that they're doing. And by the way, big props to all of our sports programs for the wonderful work that they've done there in the academics, but also work hard for support. We need to always, always, always think about the next year, 3, 5, 10 years down the road. Where do we want our home away from home to be? What do we want it to look like? So you got to get out there. You got to support. You got to join the Yosef Club. You got to help out in any way you can.
Yeah, and like I said, when people first thought ODU was joining, everyone was like, ODU? But
Yeah.
after looking at them more and talking to their fans and looking at their program is really good. It's not something to sleep on.
Yeah.
They went to a bowl game for the first time forever. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And before I go on, guys, if you haven't get your Phil Steele magazine with App State.
Yeah.
I love this. I would get it every year, but second time we've been on the cover. So it's well, the other time was Jalen Moore, I believe, 2 years ago was on the cover.
Yeah.
But I get all my stats from this book, so
Phil Steele's a great resource to go to. It's probably the most accurate publication on the market. So if anyone needs any real good information and insight, Phil Steele's is a great place to go. So, but yeah, it's ODU's no sleeper. Okay, don't sleep on ODU.
They went 6-7 last year, which still they improved because the year before that they were 6-7, 1-11, 4-8, 5-7. It just shows you that they're on the rise. Like I talked to some of the fans, and I agree with them. I told them that you guys may need a year or two to grow a little more, kind of get some more talent, to get the exposure. But I mean, they could be contenders if they do it right, and they've recruited really well from what I've seen. So I mean, it's awesome to think about, but like you also think about, wait, App State transitioned so well. JMU has a possibility. In my opinion, they may not be like gonna do like as many things we do. I'm not sure, but they do have a possibility to do really well in the first year. They have well built. They have a good coach. They have a great fan base. I know of that that goes in. So I'm just saying, in general, JMU is also not to sleep on right now because they have the talent. They're not going to be like us, in my opinion, maybe as successful, but I still feel like they're going to be successful in some ways, and not just in football, but in other sports also.
They are, and we'll see. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of effort that goes into the transition and the work that these student athletes and coaches are going to put in. We were very, very fortunate. We had and still do have a really great family in our Appalachian State football program that allowed us to have the success that we've had. That said, And again, the king of the mountain can fall. And so you got to stay alert and keep working hard. These guys are hungry. There's a lot of things that can happen. The balls bounce in different directions. All you need is one fumble. All you need is one interception. It's just those little things that can totally change the course and trajectory of a season. So we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But the point is, I'm not a prognosticator, by the way, Jacob. Don't ever ask me for predictions. I do not do predictions because I don't have that foresight. I'm not intelligent enough to be able to do it. So, but I will say we're excited. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be not only just for us at Appalachian State and the teams that we're going to be playing this year, non-conference and in conference, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We're renewing some old rivalries, really, with these new four, right? And JMU back in the old FCS days, ODU too, and of course with Marshall.
That's what
you got to love renewing that. Yeah. Hopefully, they'll never have another Randy Moss type wide receiver ever again. But if
Marshall's
they do,
then a big one, I feel like, for us, because it has so much history, and we have history with all these other schools too. But that was makes it even more special for us is that we have history with these schools, and that's why. My dad told me so many stories about Marshall. I'm not going to get any of that because there are a lot of stories. But I'm happy to see Marshall join too. They have a really good team. They lost a quarterback, but in general, these schools they added were great. Let's just say that. They were really well planned out, and geographically, I love it.
Yeah, and I got mad respect for all of these programs, all these coaches and student athletes. Love them all. I think we're excited about that, and I say that, and I even mean that about Georgia Southern. Right? I love those young men and women down there at Oregon. We don't like playing against them. It's a big rivalry, but that said. We love them all. We wish them all the best of luck. So,
I'm friends with some of the podcasters, so I got some, but
all good. We're all humans behind it all. It's okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see. But this year's gonna be a great year. I am one of the most excited games I am for this year in conference in the East is actually a team most people may not be looking for. I've told everyone my thoughts on this. Georgia State, the sleeper in the Sun Belt, is gonna play ball this year. I mean, Sean Elliott has done tremendous job, and I really think this year is maybe the year they can contend if they can beat us because they never beaten us. And I talked to the fans. The next step is beating Appalachian State. If they can beat us, in my opinion, and right now, I'd be more than happy to see them win. I would hate us not being in it, but I'd rather them win than someone else. But I really do think this year may be the year that they explode because they have talent, they have returns, and Sean Elliott has just taken that program to heights that they never thought would be possible. And I love seeing his intensity and everything about him. And that all stems back to one person that at App, Jerry Moore, which you see all these coaches and most of every coach right now that I know of that has who went to App has some connection to Jerry Moore, and I'm so happy the plaza open. I love that statue and giving them. But overall, these coaches that I see, I really respect all of them because they all have the same kind of App's respect for not App respect, but the respect that they and their morals is just pretty much around the same because of what they learned at App State.
Yeah, they definitely they learned, they paid attention while they were at Appalachian, and the Jerry Moore coaching tree definitely continues to grow and blossom and flourish, whether it's the notable names of Sean Elliott. He's done a tremendous job. I've been cheering for him. Even when he sent the text message to Spurrier and told him he could help him out down there in South Carolina, was happy for him then. So we're excited to watch them to continue to grow. But odds are, eventually one day we will lose a game to Georgia State. So we've got to be prepared for that inevitability. But we always prepare to try and never let it happen, right? We want to keep it from happening. That said, again, Georgia State's good. they're a good program. They're on the rise, and we'll see how they do this season as well. But yeah, I want to add that the Coach Moore tree is awesome. Whether it's coaches like Coach Trey Kavanaugh, his grandson, who just left the head coaching position to rejoin at Appalachian State, did a tremendous job at his high school at Cuthbertson. Tyson Fernandez doing a fantastic job at his school. There's so many coaches, I can't name them all, and I'm afraid to start naming names. But then there's Hans Badishon. You look at Taylor Lamb and all of them. It really is a blossoming tree. Satterfield and all that carried it on, and so. Again, there's just so much to be excited for. I could sit here and my head would just explode if we just really sat here and thought about all the great stuff that's going on for Appalachian State. It really is, but we got to keep it moving. We got to keep supporting. We got to keep doing all we can. Join Yosef Club, join Yosef Club, join Yosef Club. By the way, join Yosef Club and make sure that you're supporting these guys and doing everything you can, not just on social media to tell them hi and say thank you, but just put some money behind it and give our university what it needs to do all they can. So that said, things are changing as we go through season to season. Not only are the conferences realigning and we've got new teams and all that's exciting, but how these coaches recruit and go about getting their players is becoming even more interesting, especially with the transfer portal. Transfer portal has changed some things around. I don't know particularly how in depth that is or how much of an impact it's made. I'd love to talk to some coaches and find out. But the transfer portal has been huge for App. We've pulled in some really great talent, whether it's Chase Bryce, also Texas State's one of their former quarterbacks is now with us to back him up. Got some really great guys coming in whether it's from Wake Forest and other schools that have now transferred in to help solidify the team and make it. I think really we've got just as good a shot of winning the East and the Sun Belt as we ever did.
Yeah, and I will never count my chickens before they hatch. App State is going to have challenges this year, especially against Texas A&M. Will be a huge thing for us to see, kind of put us where we need to put. I'm excited for that game. I'm excited for UNC. There's so many games this year that are monumental for App State, JMU, Marshall, like in conference, and in the whole football season. I may be more excited about this season than I have been in previous season, just because of all the implications and all the new stuff and all the historical stuff that will happen this year in the Sun Belt and for App State. It is just amazing, and I'm really, like you said, I'm going to encourage you guys, go to Yosef Club, Yosef Club, Yosef Club. These, like our programs, they get paid, yes, but we need your guys' help and support, like more than ever, just to help App State athletes and our programs. These athletes do a lot of stuff and they need support, and Yosef Club does help a lot with that athletic parts of it. And I love the Yosef Club so much, and I love all it does. So I would recommend, like he said, Yosef Club, Yosef Club, Yosef Club.
So I think that we've got a really great and bright future. We're looking forward to. By the way, I'm going to be up in Boone this weekend for the Bigfoots, right? And we've got student athletes continuing even when they're not in season. They're doing lots of great work and continue to do that. Whether it's the wrestlers through the summer, baseball players, et cetera. So continue to support them even during those times of the year. Just not only when they're in season. But all season long. I love them. I want to look at them almost like my kids, and friends. They're really great people, and we love them to death. And so we're excited to see them grow and see what we can do this year. Man, let's get to September 3rd. Have us a good time, and then we'll go to College Station. By the way, Texas State, I wouldn't say that they're not beatable. I think I saw a preseason ranking. They're looking maybe at 14 around there, right? So they're probably going to be top 15. Team more likely. So we beat a number 5 Michigan. I don't think that Fisher is going to take Appalachian State lighthearted in any way, shape, or form. They're not going to overlook us. So they'll have that one game to tune up and not rust off. So the guys will have to be ready for that, especially the Texas heat. The time they scheduled that for couldn't be worse for us. So all I'm saying is, guys, hydrate, eat bananas, do all you can to be ready and fight off cramps. We don't need any of that. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, that's all we have today. Thank you, House and I, for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Great program. Great whole thing they do. Go see their Twitter page; they're amazing. And so that's all for this segment, guys. I'm so happy to end this first regular podcast this way. So thank you, House United, so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time on this segment as the Golden Ground Podcast. Thank you so much for doing this.
No, you're welcome, Jacob. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.